Hi, good.
Are you good?
I'm like halfway through my coffee.
What
Not all the way awake yet.
That's a Buc-ee's coffee cup.
I love Buc-ee's.
It's like a mall. It's like the greatest gas station mall ever.
My happiest place. I like go in one door and go out the other door because there's like 120 gas pumps at those things.
Yeah, and it's a Texas. Is it a Texas thing? Is it only in Texas?
Yeah,
Because I know them from Texas, being in Texas.
Yeah, and like there's like the closest one to my house is still like 30 minutes from my parents, and I'll like go out of my way when I go. They have a jerky bar.
They do, and depending on where you go, because I'll travel around a lot too. Sheetz is a big one. Like nationally, everyone has their big chain that they are just so passionate about. But
Buc-ee's is the
Buc-ee's
best.
is the best. I feel that way too.
Have you ever had a Buc-ee nugget?
I have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They're good.
I mean, you're talking to a lot of Texas people here.
I mean,
And
I'm so happy that
the cleanest bathrooms.
Oh yeah, and a jerky bar
And
again.
a
I
jerky
say
bar.
right.
How you been? You been good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since we've seen you. I was thinking about you the other day because my dog now, I was laying on the couch and he comes and he sneezes in my mouth. And I sleep a little sloppy because my mouth's open like this. And he sneezes in my mouth. And I have ever since then felt like I was getting some sort of.
And like a lot of times or just
No, just once, but real hard. Like
that one time.
All of it went into my mouth. And so I've been really concerned that I'm going to get sick, like dog sick.
I don't know.
Have you ever, from all of your dogs been around, have you ever got sick from a dog?
No, but they've had the flu before.
But did you get it?
I don't think so. I'm pickled though, so
Are you
I wouldn't know.
Do you think you get sick all the time or no? Because I do.
No.
You don't.
And I refuse, even if I am. I'm fine. Everything's great. Let's go on the road.
You're not sick.
You can't call in sick on my job. Like I can't. That's canceling a whole show. Like
Will you?
I try to avoid sickness at all costs.
Will you take the steroid shot if you have to before you go on?
I've had it. Like I do pills, but yeah, a lot. I started this tour with steroids. Just sometimes you have to.
There have been times where I don't have a voice and I have to go do comedy, and it's like there's nothing you can do except boom. But that stuff does help.
But it's like false confidence, and then
on the backside, it
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah, it's bad. That and an IV. Do you travel around with a nurse or anything with you?
No, but I do in the summer sometimes get like the local paramedics to give me IVs. That helps a lot actually.
I'm a believer in them.
And the B12 shot. I'm a believer in that too.
Well, you're here because the new record's out today. I got a bunch of these tracks. So why don't we start with White Trash? Tell me about this one before I play it.
I think it's a little bit autobiographical. I wrote it with Natalie Hemby and Luke Dick, and they had started it, and Laura Veltz, and I kind of came in on the last half of it, but just traded in my barbed wire. Now I got a nice picket. I was in. I was like, yes, I like that. So it's funny. I mean, it's funny. It's kind of making fun of yourself. Everybody's got a little. I come from like a tiny town, East Texas, so I have a little white trash show here and there.
So if they come in with a song, you say partially written, like we have an idea for a song. When that is pitched to you, do a lot of people come in with these songs kind of already written, or at least part of them, going, hey, do you like this idea?
I think sometimes that happens, but I think this one was just already going, and I came in to write just for the day, and they were like, oh, but this one, we just want to play this for you and see. Of course I was in. But Luke's good about that. Luke Dick will, he's always kind of prepared. I walk in with literally a blank notebook and a pencil. I'm like, here's my ideas for the day. I have a running title note in my phone, but especially if I'm writing with people I really love and trust, I kind of don't want to walk in with my ideas all the time. I kind of want to walk in open, and Luke's always a little more prepared than everybody else, so he'll be like, I have a few halfies if you want to hear them, and he kind of knows me. Same thing happened with Pretty Bitchin' on the record with John Randall and Luke. I mean, he texted me lyrics of the first verse, and of course, like a catfish on a hook. I'm like, yes.
So which songwriters have the connection to go that you trust so much to go either have a song that you're going to love or have an idea that you're going to love and they can hit you personally?
Natalie and Luke are two of those. And Shane McAnally, I didn't write with him for this record because he's busy and doing awesome things in Hollywood, but I definitely have been lured in by some of his ideas where he'll be like, hey, here's one. Like Highway Vagabond was one of those, but that's Luke, Natalie, and Shane. So those three know how to get me. Definitely.
So with a lot of these songwriters, how far out do they have to book a write with you because schedules with you're touring obviously and you're doing promotion, so it's not like you have a bunch of days, like a whole month to write. Like they have to hop on 3-4 months out.
Well, when I was writing for this one, I was off the road, so it was a lot more flexible. It was like, hey, we're over here tomorrow at 2. You want to come? Yeah. And that's the beauty of Nashville. Like everybody's kind of hanging out in town doing their thing, and even if they have a write that morning, they're still feeling it. They're like, hey, you want to come over tonight and do a night write? And but yeah, when you're on the road, I don't really write on the road anymore. It's a lot. You know, I used to have to because I was on the road all the time, but it's 2 different sides of my brain, like 2 different parts of the business, I feel like.
I was watching you, I think on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and you know, I guess my question is, why do you have a beef with beach balls so much? Because your eyes,
I hate them.
I know, they get so angry.
Because, first of all, like, the last time I had a problem with a beach ball was in Pennsylvania at the Allentown State Fair. And I was like, well, there's no beach close to here. Like, not even a grain of sand. And I was literally starting over you. And here comes a beach ball flying at my face. And then the whole crowd's looking at the beach ball, and it's during, like, a heartfelt ballad. And where it started was on the Kenny Chesney tour in 2009. Because I was doing More Like Her, which is like a deep whatever. I was sitting on a stool on the stage, and a beach ball, someone like did a volleyball spike like with this giant ball, and it hit the mic and hit my lip and busted my lip, and I was bleeding. And I was like, I'm done. So I started carrying a knife on stage on the drum riser. So now I have like a pink little razor blade, just in case.
Do you feel, though, that sometimes they do this now because they want the treat of having Miranda pop their beach ball?
No, because then they're like, you're so violent and you're not any fun, and I wish you wouldn't be so a buzzkill. I'm like, but I don't have a song about anything about water. Like, not even a steel drum anywhere. So I don't understand. It's just weird. I don't like it.
I'm also amazed that your people don't shut the beach ball down for you, and they may be doing it now more so than you don't even know about.
They try. But there's always one that sneaks through, which it's fun for me. I get to take out a little rage, but people think it's rude.
Whenever you put a song out, do you keep up with it, or do you just kind of let it go and just whatever happens?
I don't keep up with it because it's too much of a gamble with me. I've just had a somewhat tumultuous relationship over the years with country radio, and I don't know why that was, but sometimes it's great, and I have like a single that works, and then sometimes I don't get played at all. But I can tell you this, that being on tour right now and seeing, as soon as we start the first lick of this song, seeing people start singing or dancing around like they know it, it's so helpful. It's like, it's really refreshing. It's like you're in their household and in their cars, and you feel that energy back. So I'm really glad to have something working right now.
Whenever you start a live show, which is interesting to me, do you put together your set list? Like, are you the one that goes, okay, this is the order we're going to do this stuff?
I do, and my band leader, because of guitar changes.
Oh, like key changes, and you don't want to...
Well, yeah, and like switches.
Oh, even literal guitars. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, yeah, because the players have to change guitars, sometimes change instruments, so I have like little spaces where I like plan on talking. I know there's like a bunch of changes going on, but...
Do you have a mic that you can go to specifically and talk to the band where no one else can hear it?
Yes.
And what do you say to them? I think a lot of us watch and go, what are they saying? We didn't get to see that conversation. Like, what will you walk to that mic and say?
It's for, like, if you can't hear or something. Like, last weekend, my guitar player split his finger open right in the middle of the solo. So he's like, can someone go get me a Band-Aid? Like, it's really kind of nerdy stuff, usually. Sometimes it's stuff that's not for public to hear.
Do you ever...
We like say inside jokes and stuff sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever scold them, though? That was a terrible solo, Clint.
I just go, my silence is the worst. They hate it.
Oh my gosh, that's like Bobby.
They hate it.
What are you
Yes.
trying to say, Amy?
That's how you, like, the silence is a message enough.
That says enough.
It says it all, and you're like,
It's like
okay,
the mom.
well,
It's like the talking in church mom look. Like after the show, you are all getting it.
yeah.
Like,
Will you ever sit them down and go over a show, good or bad? Like game tape them?
no, you know, Dirks used to do that when I first started on tour the first time with him, and it scared me to death. I mean, he would sit there and analyze his whole band, and I would rather do anything in the world than watch myself on television, especially like a show tape with show sound, like not mixed pretty, not lit pretty. Like, I'm not doing it. They know if they sucked or not. I know if I
Do
suck.
they?
Sometimes I do. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry, I sucked today.
You know, the crowd really doesn't know that much as a thing. Because I'll go out and do it. If I do a thing and I'm like, man, I just felt terrible. And look at the comments and I'm like, hey, good show. And I feel, do you feel like at times the crowd can tell if you're not feeling it or not?
Yeah, I do. But I just take it really to heart because I feel very obligated to do the best I can do. Even if the best I can do that day is 80%, like if you're sick or something's going on in your life. I mean, I had a stretch there where there was a lot going on in my life and it was reflecting my shows, but at least I was honest about it. I was like, y'all, just having a bad day today. But I feel like they spend so much money and time, and going to like an event is not easy. I mean, you have to plan it for a long time, get a babysitter, spend the money on the tickets and the dinner and the Uber and wait in lines, and it's a lot. So I'm like, least I can do is get up here and like really deliver as best I can.
You ever say the wrong city?
I've never said the wrong city.
You keep it written down in front of you?
Is this wood?
It's kind of like a fake.
Okay, I'll knock on that then.
Okay.
Okay.
You keep it written down in front of you though, just in case?
Yes, it's big. Like on my set list, it's in big, bold caps. Because I'm terrified. Because one time I was in, it was back when I was just learning my chops or whatever, and I played in Maryland. And it was like this little fair. And I said something about Yankees. And that's below the Mason-Dixon. And so I was basically booed off the stage. I was like, okay, so I'm really careful about, and I don't say sports teams, because if you say a
They'll
sport,
start cheering, yelling at each other.
well, they
and
won't
you.
stop.
Yeah. They'll do
like
the
if
chants.
you're about to start a song, you kind of have to wait till they're done with their whatever. And if it's like a city on the line with two teams, forget it.
You can't go into Alabama
It's over.
and mention Auburn or Alabama, or they'll just yell Roll Tide and War Eagle the whole time.
I know.
The
So
whole,
I just,
they won't
I just
stop.
like, yay, sports ball. Glad to be at your sports arena.
Miranda Lambert's record Wildcard is out today. Here is some of Bluebird, written by Miranda, Luke Dick, and Natalie Hemby. Talk to me about that one for a second.
I love this song. It's so different than anything I've ever written. Luke had the idea. He had texted me like, these lines really hit me. I read them in an old poem I found, and we should write to this. And I don't know, I think it's kind of got a dark vibe, but it's hopeful. You know, I think there's a lot of that in this record. There's not a lot of darkness, which is great, but there's a lot of like, people ask me, what's your overall goal for people to take away from this record? And I'm like, it truly is all comes out in the wash, basically. It's like an overtone, you know? Because sometimes we think the sky's falling, but then we realize it's fine when we're on the back end. I feel like there's a lot of that in this record.
I was looking at the track listing. I like to see which writers, wrote which songs. But you're on every song. You wrote every song.
Every song.
Yeah, is that important to you?
This is the first one in a while that I've written every song, actually. I think the last time I wrote every song was on the first record, Kerosene, forever ago.
Did you set out to write every song?
No. I really, really honed in on my songwriting skill during the Weight of These Wings that whole couple of years when I was writing for that. And so I enjoy writing. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about this whole business. But I also would rob myself of, like, some of my career songs. If I was like, I'll write everything I could. I would have House That Built Me. I wouldn't have Mama's Broken Heart or Little Red Wagon. So, like, I just made the best song win. You know, if I get my hands on an amazing song, I'm so thankful. I don't care if I wrote it or not. And usually the ones that I get like that, I'm like, oh, man, I wish I would have thought of that, you know?
The House That Built Me was named Song of the Decade by the ACMs in September, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's such a great song.
So what is the real story? We've heard so many stories about how that song was found. How did they get that song to you?
I heard that song on a demo. Back in the day, they would send you like a CD with like 12 songs on it. You just listen through. And I was driving home from Dallas, and it came on, and it was a piano vocal with, I think Tom was singing it, Tom Douglas. And the lyrics just hit me. I like pulled over and started crying. I was like, it's like somebody just wrote my life. But that's the magic of that song, because that's how everybody feels when they hear it. Or they feel like they didn't have that house, you know, and I just remember thinking, like, this song is so me. And, I mean, it turned out to be the biggest kind of a turning point in my career. And it was a single with no drums, which was also, and a ballad from a girl. So it had a lot of, like, special moments for me with that song.
Would you ever do a show and not play that song?
No,
Where do you play it in your set list?
about in the middle. I have like a little section where I do like all kinds of kinds start coming down, and then do like house, maybe 10-man acoustic, or I always kind of have a little section of like, okay, now we're gonna reflect.
What do you close the show with right now?
Right now, I close it with "Fooled Around and Fell in Love" because I'm on tour with all the girls. But my last song, like I'm doing my own show with no plan, is usually "Red Wagon," "Gunpowder," or "White Liar." Those are kind of I switch out between those. Otherwise, people leave after those. I gotta save some for the end.
Miranda Lambert's here. Her new record, Wildcard, is out today. Let's play a little bit of Fire Escape. Miranda Lambert, Hillary Lindsay, Lauren McKenna, and Liz Rose all wrote this one. Tell me about that one.
Well, I've been hanging out in New York some more than I ever was because I got married to a New Yorker. And I didn't obviously grow up with fire escapes. I mean, I grew up with a porch, you know what I mean? But like, there's something magical about like being right in the middle of the city, New York City, and standing on the fire escape and just like hearing all the sights and sounds and the energy of the city, but you're kind of above it. I don't know. It seemed like a magical. I kind of got obsessed with it for a while because it was new to me. And so the girls came, the Love Junkies all came to Nashville to write, and we had the windows open in the apartment, and you could just hear all kinds of stuff, literally bar bands and sirens and people talking and bottles. And, you know, I think that city is so full of art if you're open to creativity and you just kind of want to soak it in. I love that song. I actually hadn't heard it in a long time. That was the first time I heard it in a while.
How much are you splitting your time now between New York and Tennessee?
We're on the road and in Tennessee a lot more now because my husband took a leave from the police department for a year, but I'm going back to do press, and I'm there like once a month, and I love it. I mean, 4 days, I love it. And then I'm like, okay, bye. I need some trees and stuff.
Because your husband's a cop, do you get to like run people's plates that rear end you and stuff? Because I would totally take advantage of that.
Yeah.
He doesn't let me take advantage of the fun stuff.
No background checks.
No,
I'm like,
but
And that would be so cool.
I know.
Yeah.
my parents are private investigators, so I still have my mom on the line all the
Oh,
time.
then you
Like,
can already
yeah.
do all that stuff.
You
Yeah,
got that.
my dad was a cop too, so I kind of like already have that whole.
got that covered.
Yeah.
If there was a musical written about your life, what would it be called?
Oh God.
Think about that.
Probably be called "Oh God." No, I'd probably just say, I don't know. I always say when I die, I want that little hashtag to be, that was weird. So probably that was weird.
We'll go hashtag that was weird.
That was
That's
weird.
the whole name of it. What are you doing outside of music? You talk about writing, but what are you doing outside of music to creatively that kind of fulfills you?
I usually find a craft here and there that I like. Like last year, I was making dream catchers. I pickle.
You were making dream
I was
catchers.
making dream catchers.
Wow.
I do pickle. I love to can.
But what do you pickle?
We have a huge garden at the farm, and so this year we had like so many zucchinis, and I didn't really know what to do with them. And I read on Pinterest, the whole of Pinterest, that you can like you look up for 3 hours. You've been staring at Pinterest recipes, but there's a thing called zucchini pickles. So I made some, but they're still pickling themselves. I don't know if they're good.
Yeah, that takes a while.
It's
My grandma used to pickle stuff, and I'd be like, I can't wait.
It's
And
a
she's like, all
2-day
right.
ordeal, and
See
then you
you in
gotta
a
wait
week.
2 months
Yeah.
till they're good.
And then I'm nervous to like actually eat it because I feel like what if I didn't seal it right or something went wrong and then I take it out and then I'm sick.
You can too.
No, I just dream about it.
Oh,
I
it's
want
a lot.
Right, like it's in
It's
my
a lot.
mind. I'm like, this would be
You
so
have to
cute.
be dedicated. Like
Right.
last year, everyone for Christmas got homemade pickles. I was making bath salts with like oils. I don't know. Just always trying to. I got to be doing something, and even if it's something that doesn't matter, like pickling, it's doing something.
What's your house like with all the animals? Like, describe to me what, if I walk in the front door, like, explain that to me.
Well, there's a greeting squad. They like come and greet you. Hi, wag tails wagging.
How many's in the squad?
Well, there's 9, but they're not all at one place. If you're at the farm and you walk in the barn and everybody's home, meaning I have my little ones and my 2 older ones in town with me, and then there's 3 huge ones at the farm. So if they're all in the barn and you walk in, it seems scary, but they all get along. They're so chill. Nobody really barks. It's just like a mob. Like, hello, welcome to the barn. Like, it's pretty great. I mean, I'm really lucky because to pick up all these random dogs over the years, they all get along. I kind of talk to them like people, though. I'm like, y'all need to chill, and you need to understand that there's dogs with less fortunate situations than you guys.
Oh, that's what I try to tell my kids.
Yeah, I'm literally, they'll like hound me to death in the mornings when I'm trying to have coffee. I'm like, you know what? You were at the shelter, and the person that was running the shelter probably didn't have time to feed you right at 7:30. So I'm going to drink this. You can chill.
My dog loves when I reason with him, too. He's a big fan of reason.
Well, have you talked to him about the sneezing episode then?
My dog's a bulldog. He doesn't quite understand stuff. And
He's
I
stubborn.
never wanted a bulldog. Never.
But they have like face problems.
They're all broken. He's got an eye problem. He's got a nose problem. He's got a wiener problem. He's much like me in all the same ways.
Oh, that's
yeah.
nice.
It's all.
Well, then y'all could have a conversation.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, I feel you, bud. Okay, the record's out today. It is called Wildcard. Let me hit you with one more. Let's do Locomotive. That's the rockin' song right there.
That's fun.
Yeah. That's a big loud one.
I'm opening with that one right now.
Are you? Yeah.
Fun.
That's a
I
big.
needed some big loud ones. Like with this record, I was thinking a lot about my live show too. Like, you know, I kind of had a singer-songwriter record last one, and I love that. But live, you need to like have some of those punches. And Locomotive was written like really slow though. I wrote it with Ashley Monroe and KS Rhodes, and it was written like, I'm like a locomotive. I don't run out of steam. And we were trying to cut it, and I was like, not happening. So I was like, oh, I'll just set it to the side. And Jay texted me, Jay Joyce, and said, what if we do it punk? And I was like, well, can I pull punk off? I don't know. And he kind of gave me a choice. He started playing it, and he was like, sing. I'm like, okay. And it worked. It's fun.
It's definitely a rocker. Okay, last question for you. Your live shows, one of these has to go, meaning you have to cut one of them from your set list. I'm fascinated with set lists, as you can tell.
Clearly.
Love it. I just love the thought of how you have to move a set list up and down and keep an audience engaged. And
I'm fascinated with George Strait's set list.
Because
Think of how would you ever
so many.
narrow that down? Because someone's going to leave disappointed. Like one time I opened for him and he didn't play Amarillo up morning, but then he did it for encore, but I was panicking. How do you he has 50 number ones, or probably more now.
60 something.
Yeah, but that's just number ones. There's still hits that I want to hear. Like, that's what I'm fascinated with. But anyways.
Well, we're at a
I don't
different
have that
level of
problem.
fascination then.
I don't have that problem at all.
If you have to cut one, I'm going to give you 4 options here. The House That Built Me, White Liar, Gunpowder and Lead, or Mama's Broken Heart. Which one goes?
Ooh.
You love them all. You love them all.
I do, but I think I would probably cut House That Built Me.
Because
Slow. But people would be sad.
if I went to your show and you cut that, I would be like, where's this House That Built Me? I didn't even pay money to watch.
But I might cut Gunpowder because I would cut Gunpowder.
You're changing
Number
it.
one, I'm changing it.
I've influenced you.
I'm changing
Okay.
it because it's a song I wrote, so I don't feel as bad. And secondly, it's old.
So you'll play the newer stuff.
Yeah, people don't want to hear that. They want to hear the songs they came to hear.
Out now, the Roadside Bars and Pink Guitars Tour. November 7th, 8th, and 9th, Charlottesville, Columbia, Orlando. You're going to be in Ottawa, which we're on there, Montreal. So go see Miranda, and you don't need our help to sell tickets. You don't need our help to sell records, but I'm glad that you
Do
came
we sell
in.
records anymore?
Well-
if we do, I do need your help.
You know, whatever that means.
I'm going to get lots of
To
streams.
push streams.
Thank you.
You don't need our help to push streams, but we're glad you came in. Big fan. So happy that you put out some new music.
Thank you.
And a bunch at once. And by the way, the clothing line. Do you make good money off the clothing line at Boot Barn?
It's getting there. I'm
Yeah.
wearing it right now. It's all idle wind.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the jacket too?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's got the what do
little-
they call that?
The
Like
little,
a sheep's fur-ish.
yeah, like a wool collar.
Like a wool. Okay.
I don't know what it's called.
It's so cute.
Faux wool.
You were sitting there. I was like, I'm about to like
Sherpa
Sherpa. There you go. I was like gonna be googling where to get a jacket like that.
at the Boot Barn in Franklin or downtown on Broadway.
Now I know.
I'll mention one other thing. Your charity, Mutt Nation Foundation, celebrating the 10th anniversary, have raised almost $4 million and supporting animal shelters across the country. As a fellow dog person, that's awesome. And I'll tell you, I was honored, and I don't even know if you know this or not, but when you guys were doing the drive here during CMA Fest, you named 2 dogs after me.
Yes, and you always talk about it, so thank you so much for supporting it. It means a lot.
Just a huge dog person. There's so much respect for what you do, and that's a near and dear to you. It's near and dear to me too.
Even
so.
if your dog sneezes in your mouth.
In my mouth. What's he thinking? All right, Miranda Lambert. Let's clap our hands for our friend Miranda Lambert. Get a record, Wildcard. Or sorry, stream her record, Wildcard, right now.
Stream it by the
however
model.
you get it.